Perfect. Love that.
Okay, it's time. Thanks for coming out to the April 10th meeting of the Board of Supervisors of Montgomery Township. I'm going to get the meeting started with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all for coming. First thing, we have some announcements. Audrey's going to start off.
So we're pleased to announce that
Microphone.
Pleased to announce that the Montgomery Township Finance Department recently received 3 distinguished awards from the Government Financial Officers Association, GFOA. We congratulate and thank our Financial Director, Brian Shapiro, and his team for their outstanding efforts and for representing Montgomery Township at this level of excellence. So our 3 awards that we received are as followed. Our Distinguished Budget Award for the 2023 Annual Budget, our Excellence in Financial Reporting for the 2021 Annual Comprehensive Financial Report, an Outstanding Achievement in Popular Annual Financial Reporting, that's the PAFR Award, for the Popular Annual Financial Reporting for fiscal year ending December 31st, 2021. So just a big thank you to Director Shapiro and team. Well done.
A lot of hard work goes into that, so
Yes.
Thank you very much. Some announcements and some dates that are up and coming. If you could mark your calendars for the following events happening in April and May, and visit our website for more information. April 15th, there's curbside leaf and yard waste pickup. Please place all materials on your curb the night before collection in paper biodegradable bags. April 22nd, we have electronic recycling at Mall Park at Windlestray from 9 a.m. to noon. Pre-registration is required. Please visit our website for more information and to register. We also have leaf and yard waste drop-off at Mall Park at Windlestray from 8 a.m. to noon. And then we have a drug take back at Wegmans from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Tanya? Sorry. You want to
Yes, that's great. On April 29th, we're having the Roy Rodriguez Arbor Day tree giveaway at Gazebo Park outside of the Township Administration Building from 9 a.m. to noon, or while supplies last. Make sure that you get there early if you would like one of those trees. They go quickly.
All right, with prom and graduation season upon us, we have May 3rd, Let's Get Real, prevention for prom and graduation season from 6:30 to 8:30. Join the Montgomery County Family Services, the Montgomery County Office of Drug and Alcohol, and I would think prevention, right? And the Montgomery Township Police Department for an informative presentation about how to stay safe during prom and graduation season.
Excellent. And then in honor of National Library Week, we're excited to announce that 2 township families will be donating little libraries to be installed in Spring Valley Park and Friendship Park for all to enjoy. Be on the lookout for these wonderful additions to our parks in the near future. All right. Next would be public comment. Persons wishing to make public comment during this meeting on any items not listed on the agenda may do so at this time. Please come forward to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. Is there any persons wishing to make public comment? Okay. Solicitor Walco, announcement of executive session, please.
Yes, Mr. Chairperson. The board had executive sessions on April 5th and tonight prior to this meeting, executive sessions for quasi-judicial deliberations on the conditional use application of the trustees of the University of Pennsylvania.
Thank you. Number 6, the consent agenda. I'm going to move to approve the consent agenda as presented for the following: minutes of the March 27th, 2023 board meeting and payment of bills for April 10th, 2023.
Second.
Public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, we have a recognition tonight for the retirement of Officer David Dunlap. I'm going to throw it over to Chief Bendig.
Good evening. On March 14th, 2023, Officer David Dunlap retired from the police department after 40 years of service to our community. Officer Dunlap began his career with the Montgomery Township Police Department as a patrol officer on March 2nd, 1984. Before his service to Montgomery Township, Officer Dunlap served as a police officer with the Abington Township Police Department. Officer Dunlap has served in various roles during his tenure, including officer in charge and motor carrier inspector. However, Officer Dunlap was most known for his work as a member of the department's highway safety unit, investigating serious crashes, conducting traffic studies, and investigating citizen traffic complaints. During his 40-year career, Officer Dunlap has received 7 departmental commendations for his actions as an officer and numerous letters of appreciation from township residents, civic groups, and neighboring law enforcement agencies. Officer Dunlap has shown exemplary dedication and professionalism in his service to our community's residents, businesses, and coworkers. Officer Dunlap's skill set, and I underline these traits, skill set, dedication, and leadership will be sorely missed. It is recommended the Board of Supervisors recognize Officer Dunlap on the occasion of his retirement from the township after 40 years of service to our community.
It's a pretty big deal. You got the visiting dignitary Chief Brady out for that. Thanks for coming, Chief. Anybody have any comments? All right, I'm going to move that we hereby recognize Officer David Dunlap and express our gratitude to him for his dedication and faithful service to the Montgomery Township Police Department and the Montgomery Township community.
Second.
Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations on your retirement.
In honor of Officer Dunlap's service to the community, we've actually have a presentation here for all his badges and all his patches. If the board would like to come up and join us in this presentation. Faith, Francine, please. We have a bunch. Yes. We got a bunch of them. Or anybody got it.
There should be better, yeah. Thank you. For everyone, 3, 2, 1. Got it, thank you. Yeah. Thanks, Dave.
We have it's National Library Month, so we have a nice presentation tonight.
Nope, you skipped one.
What did I skip?
Number 8.
Oh,
Police
sorry.
Department.
So sorry. Going out of order. Number 8, we have the Police Department Accreditation Renewal. Give that over to Chief Bendig as well.
Thank you. In July of 2001, the Police Chiefs Association introduced the Pennsylvania Law Enforcement Accreditation Program. This program was designed and developed to provide a strategy for continued professionalization of law enforcement agencies within our Commonwealth. In 2004, the Montgomery Township Police Department became the 18th department in Pennsylvania to be accredited under the accreditation program. Since achieving accreditation in 2004, the department has undergone reaccreditation in 2007, 2011, 2014, and 2017. In 2020, the department was reaccredited once again and recognized by the Commission as only the 10th premier agency in the Commonwealth for our ongoing commitment to excellence through the accreditation program. After hard work by Lieutenant Peoples and Officer Gerard, who recently retired, our accreditation managers, assessors from the accreditation program performed an on-site reaccreditation assessment of the department on January 9th of this year. This evening, we're honored to have Chief Jim Adams, retired, the accreditation program coordinator of the Pennsylvania Chiefs and Police Association, in attendance to present the association certificate of law enforcement accreditation to the department. Mr. Adams, please.
Thank you, Chief, and thank you, Board, for allowing me the opportunity to come again. You probably don't recognize me because when I was here before, we all had masks on and nobody knew who anybody was. But seriously, it's my absolute honor to come back and present actually 2 certificates tonight, the certificate for the reaccreditation and also the Premier Status Plaque. And before I do that, I think it's appropriate just to speak very briefly a little bit more about what your chief said. And I think it's a great honor to have Chief Brady here tonight, because I pulled a letter from his file, now your agency's file, and he was actually a visionary. Back in August of 2001 is the official enrollment letter that the Montgomery Township Police Department became enrolled in our program and then started actually working on accreditation. He was a visionary back then because most of us had no idea what accreditation was. In fact, I got appointed as the first accreditation manager as a newly promoted lieutenant at my department. I didn't know how to spell it, let alone know what it was. But seriously, back then, we didn't have people to turn to. And as was already stated, your department was the 18th agency in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania to become accredited. And it was hard back then because we didn't have neighboring departments who were accredited that we could turn to. Back then, we didn't have the Pennsylvania Police Accreditation Coalition, which is a network of all the accreditation managers. There was not an annual conference that we run for training. So it was truly a lot of work that needs to be recognized. And then over time, every 3 years, we send a new group of assessors in. And this obviously is not a certificate for life. You have to prove we have 125 accreditation standards or best practices. And then within those 125 standards, there are substandards or what we call bullets. So there's actually, when you add them up total, there's about 370 best practices that certificate represents that your agency complies with. You have policy, you have special orders, you have procedures in place. But then the other component of that, he mentioned that a team of assessors came in and they actually have to prove that your officers, your staff are actually following the accreditation standards. We have about 1,100 municipal police departments in Pennsylvania. We have 150 right now that are accredited. So that's about 13%. We have 28 now that are premier agencies, your agency being one of only 2% of all the police departments in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania that are accredited. And some people ask, and I'm not going to bore you with a lot of information, but the research is starting to show what's the benefit for an agency being accredited. The research is starting to show that when you compare accredited agencies with non-accredited agencies, the accredited agencies get sued less. And when they do get sued, the payouts are significantly less. So your chief, your former chief, they're truly risk managers for this municipality. And it's a lot of hard work, not just for the chief, the AM, but the entire agency. And it really, I'm sure, has become a culture here at Montgomery Township because of the amount of time, the number of times you've been through it. I'd love to stand up here and talk to you about accreditation for hours. I can go through all 125 standards. Your accreditation manager, I'm sure, can go through it. But seriously, if you have any questions, anybody, if this is being live streamed, you can log on to Pennsylvania Chiefs of Police website, the public-facing website. Click on accreditation. There's a lot of information there, and all those 125 standards, the 370 best practices are all listed there that you can see for yourself what your agency is complying with and what the certificate means. And the fact that they've been through this 15 times now, over 15 years through the reaccred process. And to get the premier status, it's not just being reaccredited. It has to be what we refer to as a clean reassessment. No waivers, no request for extensions, no provisional issues. It's a clean assessment every time to get and then maintain the premier status that comes up every 3 years. So it's my honor to be here and in public present both your reassessment certificate and your premier plaque.
Thank you so much.
I'm not surprised at all.
Yes, more than.
I'm not surprised at all to hear the word premier. All the hard work you do, very good.
Three, 2, 1. All right.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much for coming out.
Thanks again, Mr. Adams, for coming out. Appreciate it. All right, now we're going to talk about the library. We have Jane Blackledge with us, the director of the library, to present some new library cards to us.
So, April is National Library Month, and we are always delighted to welcome new members to the library. As you know, Montgomery Township is our second biggest user of the North Wales Area Library. So kudos to your community for taking advantage of those educational programs and materials that we have. Actually, Tanya has already gotten her card, but she came to the library, we did that. But I do have cards for others, so there you are. And let's see.
Candace,
There
right here.
you
Thank you
are.
so much.
And there you are.
Thank you.
So these library cards are ready to use now. They're all registered. And I have to admit that I gave Beth the form and it's got her last name filled in, ready to go. So we're not going to let that I actually have Oh, do you?
Yeah, but my dog chewed it up, so I need to get a new one.
Okay, well, we can take care of that.
I have it, I have it.
We love animals at the life, so hey, we'll
I'll
get
leave
you.
him.
We'll take care of that. But we do like to take April as a time for people to remember all of the things that libraries do offer to our communities. Remember those attraction passes that we have. You know, encourage people. What I'd like to see us do going forward is to have a place on the Montgomery Township website where we have a little library icon. Maybe people could click on it and be able to go and see some of the things that we offer there. And so get the residents to know right away that, you know, that is your library and they can click there and use it, get their membership forms, all those kinds of things to make things simple for people in our communities. We are glad to work with libraries that go into parks. I heard the earlier announcement. If a little library needs books, come see us. We get a lot of donations and we're glad to share those. We can help restock those libraries and we're glad to do that as part of just our community outreach to make sure that we have books in the hands of the people in our community. So we do want you all to come to the library. We would like to get a photo now of all of our members with your, you can bring your cards if you have them. And if your dog ate your cards, we'll come up.
You can just pretend.
Yeah.
We'll work that out. So.
I thought we go from the end here.
That's fine.
I'll hold this.
Get the library cards.
I know.
Perfect.
I'll hold that. You hold
Okay, yeah, good, good, good.
You hold that.
All set? Ready? 3, 2, 1. All right, we're all set. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for all you do for them.
You're in the consortium, right? Because I went to New York with my children when they were young.
Yeah.
Still,
And yeah,
so I will just, but I do need to get a new one. So I will be buying it, yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
In your packet of information, I did want to mention that we have our biggest fundraiser of the year coming up, the Taste of Montgomery County. It's right going to be at St. Rose in North Wales. If you can spread the word, get tickets, there's going to be all the food that you can eat. You'll see the vendors on our website, but also raffle baskets, and it's a great night of just interacting with your neighbors in the community. So you have a flyer in the back of that pack that will give you every little detail that you need. But just so you know, it's the end of April, so we have about 3 weeks to go. 2.5 weeks.
And many of the restaurants are from our township.
Oh, great.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
They honestly are. A lot of them are from
Yes.
Montgomery Township. So thank you. And certainly,
Thank you.
Montgomery Township is part of our service area, and we're glad to be able to help your community and things that we do. And we do always like suggestions. So if you have any, please reach out.
Will do.
You know where I am.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you again.
We do have a motion, so I'm going to read the motion. I move to adopt the proclamation recognizing April 23rd through April 29th, 2023 as National Library Week in Montgomery Township.
Second.
Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Item number 10 is our conditional use hearing decision and order. I'm going to pass that over to Solicitor Walco.
Make a motion.
What do you mean
Make a motion.
on? Oh.
You want to read the background?
Yeah, we don't need to do the background. Sorry.
So the applicant is proposing to this conditional hearing that was held last month to construct an ambulatory healthcare center with a parking garage on the Cow Pike. The use is permitted by conditional use in the commercial zoning district. The township staff and consultants have had the opportunity to review the details of the plan. The application was presented and reviewed by the Planning Commission at their February 16th public meeting. A public hearing was held as part of the Board of Supervisors meeting on Monday, March 27th, 2023, as duly advertised. As part of its deliberations, the board reviewed details of the testimony presented and considered conditions they may wish to include if they were to approve the application and render a decision tonight.
Thank you. I move to approve the conditional use application for the Penn Med Ambulatory Center pursuant to the conditions that I will ask our township solicitor to read.
Thank you, Madam Chair. If this board were to approve this application, it would be pursuant to the following conditions. 1, the applicant must comply with the testimony and exhibits of the applicant at the public hearing before the Board of Supervisors unless otherwise amended or acceptable by the Board of Supervisors. 2, in all other respects, the applicant shall comply with all provisions of the statutes, laws, regulations, rules, codes, and ordinances of the United States, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Montgomery Township, and any other municipal entity having jurisdiction over this matter. 3, the applicant shall install and maintain the proposed vegetative buffer in perpetuity pursuant to a landscaping covenant to be recorded against the property at the time of recording of the record plan, and shall ensure that the landscaping and buffer remains compliant with all applicable township codes. 4, the applicant shall ensure that the proposed sound barrier is installed according to township code, is properly maintained, and shall remain installed on the property. 5, the applicant shall install a 6-foot-high solid fence as described and depicted during the hearing, adequate to serve as a privacy fence between the properties. At the election of the Board of Supervisors and prior to final land development plan approval, the fence shall be increased to 8 feet in certain portions or in its entirety. The fence shall be maintained and kept in good repair by the applicant and shall be installed in a location along the property line that provides for sufficient access to the rear of the fence for the applicant's representatives to access the fence for maintenance of the fence and grounds without intruding upon the adjacent properties. The fence shall be installed at the earliest time during the construction process that would not significantly impair construction activities or result in damage to the fence by the construction activities. A temporary construction fence sufficient to serve as a visual barrier to the adjacent properties shall be installed prior to the construction activities if the permanent fence cannot be installed during or prior to construction activities. 6, the applicant shall prohibit delivery trucks or other similar large commercial vehicles from loading and unloading or remaining idling on the property or otherwise creating noises on the property in preparation for deliveries, loading, or unloading before 7 a.m. and after 8 p.m. each day of the week. No deliveries or truck loading or unloading activities shall be permitted on Sundays. 7, the applicant shall comply with the testimony provided related to the hours of operation and shall comply with all township code requirements related to lighting and noise emission levels across property lines. 8, the applicant shall agree to ensure ongoing maintenance and or adjustments to the exterior lighting of the structures proposed to ensure compliance with the township code and with the exhibits and testimony provided at the conditional use hearing. 9, the applicant shall inquire with the local utility provider, about whether that provider has any concerns related to the provider's ability to adequately serve the property together with the surrounding properties, and shall promptly report any such concerns expressed by the provider to the township. Number 10, the applicant shall develop and maintain a security plan for the property that is comparable to the applicant's other similar medical facilities. The security plan shall provide for exterior cameras of the facility to provide views of persons accessing the facility. Number 11, the applicant shall ensure that all mechanical and HVAC systems or structures installed at or near the roof of the facility are sufficiently screened to the satisfaction of the township engineer and shall result in sound pressure levels that comply with section 230-106 of the township code, which relates to noise in the LI limited industrial zoning district for maximum permitted sounds along residential boundaries, as such standards are established as of the date of this order or are otherwise established for the underlying zoning district, that being the C commercial zoning district, whichever is less. Number 12, no building signage shall be permitted to be installed on the side of the building, including the parking garage, that faces the rear yard of the property. Smaller wayfinding signs that are not visible from the rear adjoining properties shall be permitted on the ground level. Number 13, during the applicant's land development application process, the applicant shall do the following. A, comply with all comments of the township's professional staff review letters related to the conditional use to the reasonable satisfaction of the review letter author. B, comply with all township code requirements related to ground excavation, including all blasting requirements. C, comply with all township code requirements related to erosion and sedimentation controls during construction activities. D, in consultation with the township's traffic engineer, the applicant shall take reasonable steps, if any such steps are available, on the property to improve the site distance to the left from when Gwynmont Drive meets DeKalb Pike, and shall take no steps that will result in the decrease of that site distance. The applicant will work with the township traffic engineer to investigate the feasibility of installing a flashing warning light on the property if such a device is approved by PennDOT, if PennDOT approval is so required, and shall install a flashing warning light on the property if the applicant is so permitted. And E, the applicant shall demonstrate to the satisfaction of the township engineer that the proposed lighting, including parking garage lighting, complies with the township code requirements, that all outside lighting shall be arranged, designed, shielded, or directed so as to protect adjoining properties from the glare of lights, and all light standards or fixtures shall be shielded to eliminate light glare beyond an angle of 35 degrees from a vertical plane, and be so shielded that the source of the light shall not be visible off of the premises. Those are the conditions proposed if this board were to grant the conditional use.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Public comment. If you have public comment for this matter, please come up, state your name and address. Any public comment? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Motion carries. Thank you. Number 11, application of ordinance 23-334 Verizon franchise agreement. Carolyn McCreary, Township Manager.
Good evening. The Cohen Law Group has successfully negotiated the cable franchise agreement with Verizon Pennsylvania LLC. However, unlike prior agreements, this one is for 5 years, primarily due to the dramatic changes in the cable market, including changes within the industry, in technology, and also in government regulations. The franchise fee percentage remains the same as our current agreement, with the definition of gross revenue, including language for sources that may not exist at this time. The township is also permitted to conduct a franchise fee audit with new terms deemed fair to both sides. The agreement has language ensuring that a bundled discount is not solely applied to a customer's cable services, which would further reduce the calculated gross revenue. Within 90 days of the effective date of this agreement, Verizon will issue a payment of $10,930 to the township to offset our costs related to our local channel programming. An executive summary was included in your packet, which details the terms of the agreements. Staff recommends the Board of Supervisors adopt the ordinance, which has been advertised.
Did anybody have any questions? I'm going to move to adopt ordinance number 23-334, approving the renewal of the cable franchise agreement with Verizon Pennsylvania LLC. Is there a second?
Second.
Any public comment? All in favor? Aye. Okay. Number 12, we are going to Public Works, to Greg Reef, talking about the lawn care treatment.
Good evening. The township received an open bids utilizing Penn Bids on April 5th, 2023 here at the Township Building. The bid documents were downloaded 10 times and only one bid was received. The township reviewed the one bid, found everything to be complete, and is recommending to award the bid to Moyer and Son Incorporated, the only responsible bidder, with a bid of $19,244. The bid tabulation sheet is included in your packet. Moyer and Son Incorporated successfully provided us with this service in 2022 at a cost of $18,864. The board authorized the advertisement of the bid at its public meeting on February 27th, 2023. The funding for the lawn care treatment is included in the approved 2023 operating budget. So we would recommend to award the bid as recommended to Moyer and Son Incorporated.
Anybody have any questions?
I have a question. I just wanted to know, where do we apply the weed control and crabgrass preventer? Like, is it on just the parks, just the certain surfaces, like, or is it broadly, like, how does it affect, around waterways and so forth?
They're not spraying around the waterways. Basically, it's within the parks on the playing surfaces. We basically, like, we'll establish the areas before, just to make sure that they're not
This would
around.
be like playing fields.
It's the playing fields and surrounding areas, but there's nothing around waterways, and they have to make sure what they're going to use, it doesn't affect the waterways at all.
Okay. Okay.
So, but we also do the township building, we do the 2 firehouses, and we also do the community.
Sure. Okay. Okay. I just want to make sure that we're like really taking
Absolutely,
care of what chemicals are being put into
absolutely.
our grasses and so forth, and making sure that we're doing it only where it's absolutely necessary, because there can be some
Yeah, they're not doing the
hazardous-
entire park. We're
Okay,
only
great.
doing certain areas.
Perfect.
I know when they treat.
Thank you.
Yep.
When they treat Spring Valley Park, for instance, they have guys going around on bicycles to make sure that all the residents who walk their dogs along the park stay off the grass during that time frame. So they're very vigilant about or diligent about making sure that people are safe during the application period
Right.
as well.
And when we do apply it, are there little signages? I know that I see those on people's residential areas, that people put signs up to say this has just been, or is it just like, how do people know that it's just been applied?
Basically, we have people posted at every park. Depending on the size of the park is how many people will be posted there. Once the material dries, there's absolutely nothing that's going to be tracked anywhere. So once everything dries, you're good. And even what they're spraying, even the stuff that's wet, it's not going to have an effect on anybody.
Right. I just want to make
Or
sure that when,
pets.
I'm on the walk, the dogs might be on the grass,
Yeah.
and that they would sniff it and lick it and eat it, sadly. So I want to make sure that we're, giving people a chance to say, like, no, this isn't a good time to walk your dog, as an example.
Yeah, we make sure we catch
Okay,
the
perfect.
residents as they're walking there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
I'm going to move to award the contract for the 2023 lawn care treatment to Moyer and Son Incorporated, the only responsible bidder, in the amount of $19,244 per the recommendation of township staff.
Second.
Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. One more thing for you, number 13, approval of purchase of replacement 2024 GMC pickup truck.
Okay, thank you. In 2023, the Public Works Department is scheduled to replace a 2005 Chevy Tahoe. The Public Works Department is proposing to purchase one 2024 GMC Sierra 3500 HD pickup truck and snowplow from Star Buick, GMC Cadillac, and Quakertown as approved in the 2023 capital investment plan. The 2024 GMC Sierra 3500 HD pickup truck will replace the following vehicle. It's a 2005 Chevy Tahoe that has 118,023 miles. Attached is a quote dated April 6th of 2023 from Star Buick GMC Cadillac of Quakertown, an authorized vendor under the CoStar's Cooperative Purchase Program, to provide the requested vehicle and snowplow at a total cost of $68,670. For the budget impact, a total of $84,500 was included in the 2023 capital investment plan for the purchase of the truck and snowplow. So it would be our recommendation at this time that the Board of Supervisors approves to award the awarding of the contract for the reference purchase per the 2023 capital investment plan.
Does it seem like we're going to get it anytime soon?
I think the Chevy truck has more of a, they
Better
gave us a
chance?
better chance of what we did with the Fords that were ordered. So we're hoping. They kind of gave us a soft timeline of like 9 months.
Oh, even
So-
9 months. Wow.
We were happy they gave us a timeline at all, so.
Okay. All right.
Must be getting caught up on the backlog.
9 months is still so far out.
I know.
I'm going to move to award the contract for the purchase of one 2024 GMC Sierra 3500 HD pickup truck and snowplow from Star Buick GMC Cadillac, Quakertown, an authorized vendor under the CoStar's Cooperative Purchase Program at a total cost of $68,670 per their quote dated April 6, 2023.
Second.
Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. And then we're going to review the results for the single plastic use ban survey. Derek Muller, Public Information Coordinator. Thank you, as always, for keeping everybody up to date and informed.
Of course. So as the Public Information Coordinator for the township and the staff liaison for the Environmental Advisory Committee, I worked with the AC to facilitate 2 surveys for residents and businesses regarding a potential ban on single-use plastics in the township. I'm here to present the survey results as they're recorded. Our total responses for the residential survey to start with was 738. Purpose of these surveys was one to gauge the sentiment of residents and businesses about banning single-use plastics of various forms. Those would include plastic bags, straws, utensils, takeout containers, etc. Forum basis for education around single-use plastics and what a potential ban would specifically involve and not involve. And most importantly, it's an advisory tool to assist with the board of supervisors decision. It's not a tool that can make a decision in and of itself, just for advising next steps. It was conducted using the ArcGIS Survey 1, 2, 3 platform. Again, there were 2 surveys, residential and business. It was advertised and distributed on our website, social media. It was mentioned on our outdoor digital signage with the website URL linked right there. It was in our electronic newsletter, the e-news. We dedicated email blasts with just this topic on it. And members of the AC, in addition to the survey, physically visited local businesses to discuss how this ban would affect them. And this outreach is ongoing. It has not ended. So for our residential survey, first thing we wanted to know was if the majority of our respondents are from Montgomery Township, if they currently reside in Montgomery Township, and the majority do. Some did identify as not living outside the township, and some as unsure. We wanted to gauge the sentiment of how people felt about single-use plastics and their harm to the environment. It's all over, but the largest percentage agreed. And then you can see there, we can kind of blow that out maybe a little bit. Here we go. So you'll see here, 39.7% strongly agreed, 23.90 agreed, 18.43 for neutral. Disagree was 8.13%, and strongly disagree was 9.76%. We also asked if the respondents are currently using reusable bags to see how much of a behavior shift this would be if it was implemented. And again, the majority responded as currently using reusable bags at 65.31%, people not using them 32.11%, and unsure 2.57%.
You are or you're not.
We want to know about the challenges that people saw to implementing this ban for them as consumers. So I'm gonna definitely zoom in on this one. So the options we had were they're unsure of the alternatives available that were reusable. They're not sure how to find these items that are reusable. They just forget to bring the reusable materials for the convenience of single-use plastics. And they want to use the plastics for other purposes, such as lunch bags, picking up dog waste, extra containers at home, etc. We want to know if they find that these reusable items are expensive. And then there's also an option for other. So this is not percentage. This is just straight numbers. 658 people responded, 80 skipped. And you can see here the three biggest factors were forgetting to bring these materials. wanting to use it for other purposes, and honestly preferring the convenience of the single-use plastics. We did ask for comments, just open the comment section about this potential ban on single-use plastics. You'll see a word cloud right there. But I'm also going to present some summaries of these responses received. So common responses, again, in summary, some people found that the term single-use was misleading. Many, as I stated, and the question shows, reuse their bags for other purposes, like trash can liners and doggy bags. Some responded this is government overreach, a waste of tax dollars and time. There are some people who had full support of banning single-use plastics across the board. Some supported banning plastic bags, but they had less support for banning other forms, such as straws, utensils, takeout containers. Some expressed concerns that it will hurt businesses. Some had concerns health-wise about bacteria in reusable cloth bags. Some found that the survey was worded in a biased way, in their opinion. And there was support for, instead of a ban, for education and incentives to reduce or recycle single-use plastics instead of a ban. The business survey, we had 14 responses, which is not a really useful sample for this purpose if I'm going to go through the results. Again, we asked if the business was located in Montgomery Township. We asked what types of businesses they owned. So we offered retail, sit-down restaurants, takeout restaurants, manufacturing service provider, and other. There were more open-ended questions on this one, because we wanted to get the real thoughts of business owners. So some businesses rely on these plastics for packaging, for takeout and delivery. A respondent said that they put old vehicle parts in these plastic bags to give to customers for cleanups or trash. And then others just don't use single-use plastics because of the nature of their business. We asked how a plastics bag ban or similar ban for other single-use plastic materials would affect their business. Again, there was concern about there being higher costs for the business and hurting the bottom line. Some businesses said it didn't affect them, and concern for customers. So I think that comes in as they're concerned the customers won't come to their business if they don't offer these single-use plastics. We asked how long it would take for them to use up their current supply of single-use plastics. And you'll see right here that most said less than 6 months. We asked about paper bag workaround. So you can charge, let's say, 5-10 cents for a paper bag as an alternative. And honestly, the majority said it's not really an option. And these are the reasons. It's unfair to pass that cost on to the customer. Again, going back to vehicle parts, oil parts will break right through paper bags. And again, bags are a non-factor for businesses altogether, some of them who responded. Is there anything that the township can do to reduce their reliance on single-use plastics? The idea of incentives and tax credits came up again. And additional concerns, similar to the resident survey, some businesses found that this is government overreach. Some are looking for justification for this proposal and data from other communities who have already passed bans on single-use plastics. And again, some support the banning single-use plastic bags. That concludes. I should probably go back one more thing. So back to paper bags, there was concern about the environmental impact of cutting down more trees and the production of reusable bags. Some residents just asked if we could look more into how that affects the environment. But that concludes the survey results. I'll take any questions. I know that there's members from the EAC here as well who may want to comment. Thank you.
Thanks, Derek.